Hi, and welcome to our third week of Carousel's brand new summer project, the Playwright Project. I'm Alex Lindsley. I am a board member for Carousel as well as the publicity chair for all things Carousel Theater. And I am joined today by the wonderful Mike Martin, the playwright for the show premiering this Friday, Long Time No See. Hi, Mike. How are you doing?
Hi, Alex.
Just in case people don't know you or maybe haven't seen you before, why don't you give us a little intro and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Mike Martin. I grew up here in Indianola and graduated from Indianola and uh, returned about 10, 15 years ago. And I'm now the current owner of the Corner Sundry on the Indianola Square.
Cool. Now you've been involved for Carousel for a couple years, right?
Yeah, I started about, I want to say 2 years ago now. Um, I worked on Hunchback of Notre Dame, um, Delusions of Power. Um, I think my first performance was with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yep,
So,
with Mickey Larsh.
yeah.
All right. So just to dive into talking about the Playwright Project, which is what we're all here for, right? How did you actually hear about the project?
Well, I heard about it when it was kind of in still concept, like they were trying to figure out if this is something. COVID was starting to roll out and really looking to have another project in the works. And it sounded like a very creative option. And it's definitely something I've never done before. So I definitely wanted to try something new.
Yeah, and try something new you did. You dove right in and you wrote an entire show, which is just astounding. I think the accomplishments that you guys as a group have done is just so incredible. What made you want to try to write a show?
Well, I've worked in uh, as a technical writer with standard operating procedures, and I've done a lot of writing for village college courses and stuff, but I've never actually done like creative writing. And I really
Mhm.
wanted to give my hand to something that's a little bit more right-brained and really try to push myself to try something completely new, completely different for me.
Yeah, so how was it like trying to tackle writing something more creative? Because you have a theatrical background, both on stage and off stage. Do you think that influenced how you approached writing a show?
Uh, Sort of, but actually the whole creative process is completely different because when you're working on a play, it's already done for you. The writing's already there. So you're
Mhm.
just kind of trying to put the pieces together and create the show from the words. Whereas writing the play, you're creating the words that everybody else is going to base their show off of. So
Yeah.
it was very unique from that standpoint, and it was definitely a pretty big learning curve working through this project. So David Dubchek's help on this project was amazing.
Yeah, okay, so walk me through that process, right? You guys get to your first group meeting together. You decide that you guys are gonna write your own individual plays. You've obviously written the play Long Time No See. Where did you find your inspiration? And then how did you go about actually writing dialogue and plot?
It took a few sessions before we actually dived into actually creating anything. I mean, went through and kind of looked at asking a question, um, kind of like, I guess, when you see those movie trailers in a world and then you fill in the blanks. And it's like we wrote out different types of uh, what if scenarios, like what would happen if this occurred or whatever. And we wrote down several different options or ideas and kind of tossed a few things around in the group, kind of get ourselves an idea. And for me, um, it was kind of a um, reflection back on, like, if I were able to meet someone that I haven't seen in a very long time, where what would that conversation be? Where would that conversation go?
Mhm.
Um, I even after and even after I did the first draft, Um, it it initiated with like a situation in my life, but it quickly evolved because I realized the situation in my life was pretty darn boring. And so I wanted to add in a lot more creativity and uh, uh, experiences into this play. And then even as it evolved, it became more of, instead of create character one and character two doing this and this and this, it was rewritten, trying to add in, okay, I have this person here and I have this person here. What is their life? And try to actually bring life to these people instead of just trying to push uh, push in a narrative.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just a very creative process. They've really helped me to try to re-look at these characters, rewrite. I mean, multiple times to really kind of help develop a character, develop a plot arc, and just create two humans instead
Hmm.
of just a character here and a character here.
Oh
So
yeah, totally. So you've got these two humans, these two characters, and you say it was kind of inspired a little bit by your own life and this question of, if I met someone who I haven't seen in a long time, how would that conversation go? Where did you find inspirations for your characters themselves? Were they based on people in your own life? Is one based on you or anything like that?
I would say it's based on like several people in my life, kind of mushed together. Um, but that was kind of like a starting base um, to get me going. I think as the characters evolved, they kind of evolved into their own characters and like kind of, I don't know, I guess create a backstory in my mind of, this is what this person probably had going on in his life, and this is how this developed, and this person
Mhm.
had this going on in his life, and this is how this developed, and then kind of merge those together and really kind of came out with different results from what I originally written. So it was definitely a evolution of characters.
Yeah, okay. So diving back into the writing process a little bit, I've talked about with some of the other authors the process of like starting a show, but what I'm really interested is, how do you know when your show is done? How do you know when to put the pen down and to say, I'm done writing, this is where I want it to be?
I actually developed the beginning and the end early on, and it was actually harder because I knew where I wanted to begin and I knew where I wanted to end, and creating the arc that leads you to that
Mhm.
resolution. That's kind of the flow I took, and I don't
Yeah.
know how they took theirs, but that's the route I ended up taking for mine.
So how was the collaborative experience? I know a lot of your fellow playwrights have kind of called this almost like a pseudo classroom situation. What was it like being in those rooms and sharing ideas and giving feedback? Like, how was that? How did that affect your writing or affect how you looked at other people's writing?
I think it was a really great experience to hear other people's collaboration and ideas, and we just kind of bounce concepts off of each other, and we'd go through and read through each other's plays and kind of help give feedback. Um, I, I don't know, it's definitely like a classroom um, uh, project that
Mhm.
we were working on. So it's
So
kind
at
of like classrooms project working together.
Yeah. So at the time of recording right now, we have just wrapped actually filming all of the shows and we're currently working on some post editing. How does it feel knowing that, your first play is kind of getting a world premiere a little bit? You've got like an original cast. Like, what is that feeling like as a playwright?
A little bit nervous. Uh, uh, it's the first time something I've written is being like, you know, brought to life. So
Mhm.
it's it's an unusual feeling
Yeah.
to
So
be.
the playwrights weren't there for the recordings, but you guys did get an opportunity to hear people read your words in a sort of play reading. What was that like? Did that like make you have to reevaluate anything? Did you get a chance to like Did you have to change, or did you like know, like, yes, this is the course and this is going really well?
Yeah, actually, um, hearing it for the first time, having someone read through it was actually really beneficial. And I would have liked to have seen more options for that, because what I have written down and what I read through, and then hearing someone else's interpretation of it, uh, was kind of surprising for me. And I did make quite a few revisions from that, because it was really great to be able to hear how it flowed, where those areas didn't flow, and really have a physical thing to address or make changes to. So it's really
Totally.
to be able to do that.
That's so cool. I am so excited for everyone to see all the hard work that you guys have done. I think all the plays are just spectacular. One thing I've noticed is you all managed to kind of pull the heartstrings a little bit. There is a bit of a common theme where we're kind of dealing with the idea of loss or reconciliation. How did you guys come about that? Is that just something that happened?
I think so. Of course, these sessions were all going during COVID. So I think there was, I don't know if it's necessarily loss, but I think mortality was a little bit on our minds. And
Hmm.
so I think that probably played into it a little bit, and probably, I don't know, possibly a little bit of groupthink, because we're all working on our own projects together, but we're all sharing what we did. And so that probably had an impact on the overall uh, output of it, I guess you would say. Um, but I think it was just kind of something that um, just happened,
Yeah.
just as a group, a group effect.
So cool. Okay, so we've wrapped on writing, we've wrapped on recording, we're working on editing. Your show is going to go up as of now with people watching it this Friday at 7 p.m. What's next for Mike Martin and his newfound creative writing career? Are you going to revisit the show, make it longer? Are you going to write something else? Anything
I
exciting?
This is definitely a drama. In the course of our sessions, we also had a moment to break away from our current play and just kind of play with something else, just a couple pages of another thing. And I really enjoyed writing a little bit of a comedy. So I
Mhm.
think going forward, I would probably want to try my hand at writing something a little bit more lighthearted, uh, for maybe even a full length performance. Each one of these is a one act play. It would be
Mhm.
kind of nice to see a full length performance, probably like a comedy or something.
So I'm sensing a future Mike Martin project in the future, just
I
around the
hope so.
corner.
I'm hoping so.
Um, well, thank you so much for joining me today and having just a little conversation about your play and your process. I, again, so excited to hear the feedback. I think everyone is going to love it. Your play is so good. I love it so much. Justin Gilkerson, a good friend of mine, is spectacular in it. So, like I said, again, this is Mike Martin, the playwright for Long Time No See, premiering this Friday at 7 p.m. on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. And thank you so much for joining me, Mike.
Right. Thank you, Alex.